Well, hello everybody. Today is Monday, Halloween, and I'm sitting here in my backyard enjoying the afternoon. And I wanted to make this video because I recently moved to South Texas. Well, I say recently. I've lived here now for a little over 2 years and bought a house. And one of the things that I like to do is I like to listen to talk radio. And I love to listen to the conservative talk radio hosts because those guys are the biggest idiots on the planet, because the fear that they push and the way that they try to get ratings is just hilarious. When I come home from work in the morning, it's like listening to a comedy show. But there's one in particular that I wanted to talk about today. It's a guy, he comes on between 5 and 7 on this radio station, AM 550 KTSA, and his name is Trey Ware. And I just have to talk about this guy. First of all, the only reason he's in radio is because of nepotism. His father was in radio, so, of course, nepotism gets you a lot of doors open for you, so he's in radio. And this guy, oh my God, he's one of these QAnon, Trump, DeSantis sycophants. And what's funny about it is he rails against COVID and things like that, getting the vaccine. But yet, he says on his radio show that he got the vaccine. Now, he'll tell everybody else don't get it, but he admits he got it. And I always think that's funny, because you have to be stupid to listen to a person who admits that he took a shot to save his life, but tells you not to take a shot to save yours. So you can tell how intelligent these South Texas listeners are. And he loves to push all these conspiracy theories. And, he hates, black people, because I've heard black people call into his show and he just shoots them down and hangs up on them as soon as they start talking. I heard a black man call into his show one day and talk about how his father was racist, and boy howdy, he went off. He talks about snowflakes. Well, he's a snowflake when it comes to his racial tendencies. Also, he always talks about how, welfare is horrible and food stamps is horrible and we should let these people starve and all this stuff, because he's a real big Christian. But then he raises money every year to try to, feed people for Thanksgiving and stuff like that, and Christmas and things. And I've always wanted to call into his show, but I'm not even going to waste my time to call that idiot because he's so stupid, because I know he would just talk over me and hang up. And I always wanted to call in when he's raising money to say, hey, isn't that socialism? Isn't that communism? You're raising money for poor people. I thought poor people were scum. That's what you say every other day of the year. But when it comes to the holidays, then you raise money, because he's not raising money because he actually cares. He's raising money so he gets a pat on the back by the community. And they say, oh, that Trey Ware, he's such a good guy. What else is this fool talking about? Well, number one thing that I think is funny is he always talks about how he supports the police. And this goes to show you how he flip-flops, because he just talks out of both sides of his face because he's trying to get ratings. That's what all of these radio dudes do, is they talk out of both sides of their face, because he's always supporting the cops. But then when we had the Uvalde shooting, because the public was against the Uvalde shooting, of course he was against those cops and he was talking smack about those cops. But when, say, a black man gets shot and the public, the white public that listens to him, are raising hell about how can you arrest those cops, that black man deserved to get shot, then of course he's for the cops and is happy that black guy got shot. But when Uvalde happened and the public was against Uvalde, of course he had to switch gears and now he's against the cops. He's such a hypocrite and he's such an idiot. And I love to listen to him because he just makes me laugh. Because when I listen to him, I listen to the stupid things that come out of his mouth. Like, one of the things he loves to talk about is he loves to talk about myocarditis. And he goes to show how stupid he is because he doesn't even understand what myocarditis is. I have been working in the medical field for over 12 years, and I have treated many people with myocarditis. It's a treatable, condition. It's inflammation of the heart muscle. You put them on antibiotics, and it's easily recoverable. But, he talks like you get myocarditis, you're going to be dead tomorrow. It just goes to show how stupid he is. And what else is that fool talk about that I just love to laugh at? Like I said, he jumps on all the QAnon bull crap and just, he like I said, he's just a sycophant. He's doing it for ratings. And the problem is like when I listen to him, I know that he's doing it for ratings. I know that he's a professional man. He's intelligent. He got the shot. But he's telling other people not to because it's just about ratings. I wish that the other listeners could, realize that he's just doing it for money. But these other people call in and they're so, they think that he's being so honest and truthful. And the reason I wanted to talk about this today is because somebody was today on Twitter was talking about Rush Limbaugh. And they said something that I thought was really amazing. They said, when Rush Limbaugh was alive, he was this big voice. Everybody talked about him every day. But now he's been dead it'll be 2 years this coming February. And the only reason I know that is because they put it in their tweet. And they said, nobody talks about him anymore because he's dead. And what good did Rush Limbaugh ever do? How did he change humanity? How did he make life better? He didn't. He talked a bunch of nonsense. He was racist. He was a drug addict. He was a Republican sycophant. And he died. And now nobody talks about him. And that really sat with me. I was like, wow, it's funny. You think about men or people in your life, and you think about people that done great things. Beethoven, Da Vinci, Jonas Salk, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Tesla. All these people that, Einstein, that their names, every day are brought up. And then you think about a person like Rush Limbaugh, who, when he was alive, yeah, he was a big voice and people talked about him. But now that he's dead, I don't never hear anybody talking about him. I don't ever hear anybody say, well, you remember how Rush really changed everything, and Rush really did this, and, he did a lot of good for humanity. No, he was just a big blowhard, deaf drug addict that died of cancer and is dead and is worm food, and people are probably pissing and shitting on his grave, and nobody cares anymore. And it really made me think about this guy, Trey Ware, that I think is the biggest idiot, and I laugh at him every morning because he's such an idiot. But he also, someday will die, and all of his, he accomplished nothing in life. Everything that he did just went up into the ether. It just was words spoken and into the ether. At least I can say, I may not be rich or famous, but I've worked in the medical field. I've saved lives. And I've actually saved lives by doing CPR on people that were dead and brought them back. I worked in psych for 3 years and helped people with drug addiction and people that had tried to commit suicide. I actually saved lives. Now, my name may never be remembered, and I may never be brought up in major conversations, but I did more than Rush, and I did way more than this Trey Ware. So I just thought that if you're having a bad day and you think that your life is insignificant, these people in your life that you think are famous, like, Rush Limbaugh or other people, just think when they die, they never did any good. All they did was rile people up, and now they're dead, and nobody gives a crap. So this is David Zoe Zizzles, and Trey Ware, if you see this, you're a piece of shit. Bye.